Good morning, lovely people, or afternoon, or evening. How are you today? I hope you're well. Oh, wriggle, get comfy. I think we may have enough light today to be in this corner. Can you see on my cheek I look quite lit? It's actually a reflection of the sun bouncing up off the floor. Yay, we have a bright day finally. I was thinking about this morning when I woke to light for the first time in days. You know what a beautiful change it is. And in winter we can have some of the most deliciously bright, beautiful days, really blue skies. It's just that we haven't had many of those so far this winter. Now, of course, this side of Christmas, I don't mind so much because, of course, everywhere we look, there are beautiful twinkling lights, aren't there? Well, I say that, I don't know what it's like where you are, but on my little high street, all the shopkeepers decorate their windows and pop their lights in. Our street lights, as in, you know, the lamp posts, they have sort of fairy lights sort of thing, kind of large scale fairy lights wrapped around them. It's nothing very grand by way of Christmas lights, but then my little area is quite poor, so at least we've got something. So actually, you know, there've been a couple of occasions I've popped out at sort of 4:30, post office usually. Oh my goodness, just on that, I was messaging with someone yesterday. Thank you so much, lovely. She's ordered something from the shop and said, don't be in a hurry to get it sent out if the post office queues are like that. And I've been speculating, thinking, was it because of lockdown? Have people ordered random stuff they don't need and changed their mind? But of course, what I hadn't thought about, because I've done it myself this year, is, of course, a lot of families won't be getting together. People aren't going to be travelling hither and thither. So, of course, more people this year are sending their gifts through the post rather than taking them in person. So that may account for it. Anyway, yes, I'd popped out, I think it was, to the post office, and it was just this really sort of sweet, kind of wholesome, old-fashioned, whatever experience, because I could hear little bits of Christmas music, but not kind of brash. Not all the pop tunes you hear all the time, but some carols. The lights were all on in all the windows and in the street. My little walk down to the post office, I go past, we have a street flower seller. She's sort of in a little square. Between the row of shops breaks up for a moment and there's a square with a little bench and trees and what have you, and her flower stall is there. But of course at this time of year she's selling Christmas trees. So as I walked down to the post office, it was so sweet. It kind of almost makes me want to cry. People buying their Christmas trees and onto their shoulders to carry them home. And I guess, it's the last weekend before Christmas. Some people do it at this stage. So it's really sweet, and I just thought, it may be quite simple on my high street in terms of the lights, but it was sweet. And then I was thinking, come January, they'll all be taken down. Which kind of also prompted another thought. This always makes me laugh. Where my great aunt lives, it's so funny. There's only a little tiny high street. It's barely even a high street. On one side of it is the train station, so you sort of come out of the train station into this little quintessentially Victorian seaside high street with the glass canopied walkway. And on the station side there's it's a business. It's changed hands a few times, but it used to be a garden centre, and now it's they're just selling sheds and fencing, what have you. But over the entrance to it is this big it must be 3 metres wide by maybe a metre deep over the gate, it's the Christmas lights, and it says Merry Christmas from name of her town. It's there all year. It's hilarious. So literally in the run up to Christmas, they turn the lights on. Oh, sparkly. After Christmas, they just turn the lights off, but the whole sign stays there. And the number of times I've been walking down that road to go and, you know, pick up a bit of shopping for my great aunt, or, you know, if I'm a bit early for my train, because there's only one train an hour, don't want to miss it, so I usually get there early. I'll have a little walk down the high street, and it always catches my eye, and it always makes me chuckle. It's like, take it down, put it away somewhere. Oh dear. So the other thing was, a couple of people have mentioned this actually, and I think in any other year I might have said yes, but someone was mentioning, a couple of people mentioned, could I go walk about with my camera and film some of the lights, either locally or up in town? So the thing is, at the moment, I'm not making any unnecessary journeys. I really don't want to be on public transport in a small confined space with lots of other people. I strongly believe that for those of us who don't need to travel, let's not, because some people have to use the buses to get to work. So let's not overcrowd them with us. So no, I won't be going into town to see the lights this year. That's a shame, but you know, it happens every year. I'll do it next year or the year after. The ones in Regent Street are always beautiful. I mean, Regent Street is a beautiful Regency street anyway. It connects Piccadilly Circus and Oxford Street, and it's this beautiful curving sweep of beautiful Regency buildings. It's very elegant, quite expensive shops. It's not somewhere that I would ever shop, but it's certainly very pleasing on the eye. And yes, they do always have the most gorgeous decorations. A couple of my friends went up to look at the lights a couple of weeks ago, and they went on a midweek day thinking there wouldn't be the crowds. Oh, don't go in, son. Sun's going in. Yeah, thinking there would not be the crowds, but actually, yeah, they said it was so heaving. It was a bit scary, so they just turned around and came home. And I've seen other photographs of Regent Street, Oxford Street, and people are, you know, flooding into London to do their Christmas shopping. It's so hard, isn't it? Because on the one hand, yes, you want the businesses to thrive, but we don't want the virus to thrive. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about that subject today. But anyway, so, excuse me, no, I won't be going into town with my camera. And even doing it around here, sorry, I saw out the corner of my eye my phone flashing, and I thought I'd better attend. For once, my phone has rung, and it's not someone giving me a problem to deal with. It was a nice thing. It was a message from my beautiful plot neighbour Sheena. I don't know if you remember, when did I do it? It's towards the beginning of December. Do you remember that big scaffolding plank that I had behind my fence? So when I was fixing my wood chip path and doing a little bit of maintenance there, I thought, right, because I'd promised it to her. Well, I asked her if she would like it. She said yes. So I'd promised it to her ages ago, but just never got around to giving it to her. Part of the problem is that when we see each other on site, we always end up talking for ages. She's such a good friend, a great listener. She's one of those friends that, you know, I can share my troubles with, and she shares her troubles with me. It's completely symbiotic. But neither of us just dump our problems on each other. We'll always talk about other stuff, happy stuff, as well as our problems, you know. So she doesn't drain me. She's not one of those friends who just drains me by only ever telling me about her problems. God love her. Anyway, so that day when I was doing the path, I thought I must take the plank over to Sheena. I don't think I mentioned it in the video at the time, but the plot that's on parallel, so Sheena's plot is kind of one down, one over from mine. So the plot above hers that's parallel with mine, they've got a sunken washing up bowl pond. I still haven't found anything for my pond. Yeah, they've got a sunken washing up bowl pond. And of course, my size 8 went into it when I was woman handling this scaff plank over to Sheena's pot. Because it is, I think it's about 5 metres long. It's quite unwieldy. It's quite heavy. And it was a muddy, slippy, slidey day and slush. I felt, well, firstly, thank goodness I had my Wellington boots on. And although my Wellington boots are only short ones, they're long enough to be deeper than the pond. I felt awful. I quickly look in the pond, look on the underside of my welly boot, make sure I haven't crushed a frog or a toad or a newt or anything. Actually, they wouldn't be in the ponds at the moment, would they? They're more likely to be in our compost heaps. But yeah, massive digression. Anyway, yeah, so that was her just messaging me to say thank you. She wanted to thank me in person, but we just keep missing each other. It's that time of year, isn't it? We all keep missing each other on our plots because we kind of scurry down, get our harvest, scurry home again. Hopefully in the next few days there's some clear, or at least dry weather, so we can get down there and have some fun together. Not just dry, but hopefully with a drop in the wind, because the other day the wind was just, oh, it was just a grotty day. It was a grotty day, never mind. Wow, I'm digressing a lot today. What I meant to say is, in terms of the lights in my own neighbourhood, a little bit reluctant to be out after dark on my own with my camera. You know, I'm not saying my neighbourhood is any more unsafe than other neighbourhoods, but, you know, it's that time of year when people are needing money, and I don't want to be standing around with my expensive piece of equipment in the dark, basically asking to be robbed. You know, I'm London savvy. Wherever I am, even in the posh parts of London, even in the middle of the day, I don't walk down the street with my phone out. Not that anyone would nick my phone. Can you imagine if someone nicked my phone, how disappointed they would be, having run down the street with it and then have a look at it and they'd be like, what is this piece of... Oh, I'm just seeing in the screen, I've gone out of focus again, haven't I? Is it the light? Come on, camera. Oh, that's better. I don't know, maybe this camera's on its last legs. Oh no, don't say that. Yes, so, like I say, I'm just reaching down for my calendar. It's not that I live in a particularly rough area. It's rougher than some parts of London, but I don't want to ask for trouble, put it that way. Anyway, right, the rate I've gone on, we're going to do our calendars, that'll be it. So we are now on the 20th. Found it. Up here it is. Oh, and just think, in a few days' time on this calendar, we get to the big window. What is it today? Oh, beautiful. A dove. A dove of peace. How lovely. A friend of mine, Jackie, hello Jackie, her Christmas tree, all her decorations are doves and angels. So pretty. And do you remember, I couldn't talk about it last year because it was a present and therefore a surprise, but I asked Kate from the last Homely House if she would make me one of her beautiful ceramic hanging ornaments, decorations, specifically in the shape of a dove for my friend Jackie. Well, Kate thought that was a lovely idea, and not only did she make one for me to give to my friend Jackie, she made a whole load, and I think they were one of the things in her Christmas boxes last year. Special. That's lovely, isn't it? I love those kind of it was so random, these kind of connections we all developed through this wonderful world of social media. I tell you, you know, for the most part, social media is brilliant. There we have my friend in Canada, my friend in Northumbria, and me down here in London, all connected by a beautiful ceramic dove. Right then, I've immediately forgotten the date, 20th. Can't see which books this one is straddling. You know, the problem is I massively cut my fingernails the other day. I like to keep them really, really short. A hangover from being a nurse, being a girl guide, I don't know what, but it's making it really difficult to get under the flaps. Hang on a sec. Oh, I think I probably knew. I think this is one a lot of us probably know. The Christmas tree first gained popularity in British and American society after engravings of the royal family decorating a tree were published in 1848. Yeah, that Victoria and Albert, they've got a lot to answer for when it comes to Christmas. I'm just thinking about the also the giant Norway spruce that we have in Trafalgar Square each year. Has it happened this year? I don't know. It's usually quite a momentous occasion. It's usually on telly, on the news. But the beautiful people of Norway gift us a Christmas tree every year. It's huge. It's a thank you. Oh, my brain is suddenly turned off. I'm struggling to remember what it's a thank you for. I think it's thank you for help in the Second World War. I can't remember. And my brain has now suddenly jumped to the heroes of Telemark and them trying to survive on moss. They made that kind of connection of that's what the reindeer were eating. It's the only thing the reindeer were eating in winter, and they were in the middle of nowhere, and could they eat moss? Anyway, that's a story for a whole another day. Yes, the beautiful Norway spruce in Trafalgar Square. I don't know if it's happened this year. You know what I'm going to do as soon as I turn this camera off, don't you? I'm going to go and hop onto the computer to see if it has happened this year. I hope so. I like traditions like that. Anyway, I'm just looking at the clock. That's quite a long burble this morning. I hadn't meant to, but there we go. That's what happens some days. So we're going to call it quits for this video there, and I will see you all again tomorrow for another opening on the calendars. Oh, they're getting so few and far between now, aren't they? But yeah, I'll see you for another opening, and hopefully a little bit of garden time. Oh, that would be precious, wouldn't it? I will see you then. Please, in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye for now.